The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 69. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, and turn-based Carl. Carl, you're back. Happy New Year, man. We're at full strength again. How you doing, man?
Great, man. I'm looking forward to this because it's just been so long. I just want to talk about all the games, all the news.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of things, you know?
Yeah. So Carl, he's with us in spirit, everybody. As you probably know by now, Burly and I, we do a morning show Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter. So Carl is always in the chat with us usually. So he's with us in spirit for those episodes. So so it's good to see you again, Carl. So welcome back. So Burly, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a while since I spoke to you, Expat.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Yeah. So like how many hours ago now? Like 20 hours ago you spoke with me? So, yeah.
It's almost 24 hours. Actually, it is because we did the Boba Fett. And it's nice to have Carl back here. I know this is just going to be a blast with the three of us going through these stories.
Yeah. So the Boba Fett Chapter 3 will be going. It's on Patreon right now in early access at our Patreon site at patreon.com/thearena_podcast, and then it will go up to our YouTube channel once it goes public tomorrow. So
did you guys talk about the very slow cartoonist chase scene?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
We did.
Everybody watch the episode after you watch Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. Once you finish watching that, because most of our episodes are spoiler laced, of course, spoiler reactions.
They're all spoiler laced.
Exactly. Yeah. So
please talk about it without using spoilers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I could not believe they threw in like literally every chase scene like trope that you could imagine in that one sequence.
I think the only one they were missing was the that music going on.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, this is a gaming news podcast, so we'll have to save the Star Wars talk for our Star Wars Republic Patreon show. So anyway, let's do it, man. So in this episode, our topic of the show is going to be our favorite 100+ hour games and what types of games do we like to be a completionist on. So we're going to be talking about that in the topic of the show. But other things we're going to be talking about in this episode, of course, Take-Two has bought or has purchased Zynga. So we're going to be talking about that acquisition. We're also going to be talking about Microsoft discontinuing the Xbox One line of consoles. As well as Sony deciding to continue producing PS4s. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch and their lineup through February, as well as of course our new game releases that are going to be coming for the week of January 17th through the 23rd. So all that's coming. But first, here's a brief message about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and post-show in audio and video formats, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, the multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at the Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys. It's time to talk about the games that we've been playing. And Carl, I'm sure you've got a lot of games to catch up to talk about that you've been playing. Yeah, I got a few. But first, I'm going to go ahead and start. I went back to streaming, as Burly knows. I did a live stream last weekend, and I played a little bit of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've already completed Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Good stuff. I finished it the first time on the Xbox Series X, but I'm playing it now on PS5 to see how it is. Graphically, it's pretty similar to the Series X version of the game. Just having fun with it and enjoying live streaming Shadow of the Tomb Raider for everybody. So I love going through the challenge tombs. I love exploring for things, and as you guys know, I'm into history, so I love the cultural history aspects of the game. Of the trilogy, I still think Rise of the Tomb Raider is the best of the three when it comes to the stories. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider was also very, very good. And also I've been playing The Gunk. So I was playing some of that today, actually. And The Gunk is really interesting. I mean, if you're into botanical type of plant life, I mean, this game is for you because you're on this planet, you land on this planet, and there's all of this gunk that's like infested itself on the planet, and it's like a bacteria that is affecting the plant life. So once you suck up, you have like this hand tool that the main character uses to basically like a vacuum cleaner to suck up the gunk and to remove all of the bacteria from all of the plant life, and then makes the planet look very beautiful again. But when it comes to the juxta of the story, though, you figure out you run into this area where there is some alien civilization that used to live on this planet, I guess. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but basically you're trying to learn about this civilization and what they left behind, and maybe they left the planet because of the gunk. But yeah, I mean, they basically created this irrigation system on the planet that was affected by the gunk. So as you go through the game and you're cleaning up all the gunk, the water around the planet starts to, be fresh and natural again. So yeah, it's really fun. There's a lot of climbing involved in this game. You take pieces of plants and then you throw those pieces of plants onto a certain area, and then it automatically grows this big mushroom plant where you can climb up to particular cliffs in the game. So it's really fun to play. There's not much combat in this game, though. It's basically vacuuming gunk and getting from point A to point B, and getting up through the canyon areas by clearing out the gunk. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. It's really fun. It's a fun little AA game. It's not a AAA game in any way. It's a cool little indie game. So, and it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass on Xbox, download it and try it. Yeah. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah. All right, Carl. take it away, man. What have you been playing during the holiday season and up until now?
I mean, stuff I finished off was like Halo Infinite. I don't know if I've talked about finishing that campaign and loving that. I mean, story-wise, it's okay. It's not like it's amazing, but I appreciate, I enjoy what happened. I want to know more. I love the open world. It's just a fantastic sandbox. I was compelled to like constantly go find all the little things just because it was fun to do. Not just because like I felt like I needed to clear a map, because I didn't clear all of it. But the things that are really cool, like when you like attacking the fortresses, like sometimes there's no reason you even need to do it, but they're just really cool encounters, and it's just worth doing. Let's see, the Record of Lodoss War Deedlit in Wonderland. That was that Metroidvania game that was on Game Pass. I had a really good time with it. I think I don't play a lot of those games, Metroidvanias, but I think it's a really good, it feels like an entry level. Like if you're not really into those games, this game is perfect for you. It's not too hard, I would say. Like I was able to, like every boss I'd probably lose the first time, but I learned the pattern relatively quickly. I'd be able to take it down. It felt satisfying to do that for someone of like my skill level in those games, which probably isn't very high. There's not much of a story, but it's enough to like get you through that type of game, which generally I doubt those games really have much story, I'd imagine.
Okay.
That was fun. Let's see, and then I dabbled into the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen some comments I made. Like Mass Effect 1 does not hold up. I'm so disappointed because I loved that game like back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I do not feel it's really worth playing today. As far as like gameplay, story wise, like I was like, yeah, this is the good story I remember. But the pacing is like a little sluggish at the beginning, and it just feels bad. Like even with the enhancements, like it feels like off. Like the aiming, the detection, like the way things are like taking fire, like just doesn't feel impactful. It doesn't feel right. I just don't. And then using the abilities, just again doesn't feel right. Like I use an ability and like it just like goes off and misses, and I'm like, why did that happen? I'm not even sure, and I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I'm like, the button design, like the controller layout is not good. It doesn't feel right. And there's no way to change the button layout as far as I saw, just in the menus. And I was and then I jumped into Mass Effect 2, and I'm like, no, this game really holds up. This is fantastic. Because like, man, I can't believe the difference. Like just the way that game starts off is, I think, better, just because it jumps you right into like a scenario that's a little bit more action and introduces you to that world and those characters better, more quickly. Than Mass Effect 1 does. Nice. You don't really have had to play Mass Effect 1 to really play Mass Effect 2, which is weird now that I'm saying that now, but like going back to it, I'm like, yeah, you kind of don't. Like they set it up that way, and the gameplay just feels so much better. Using the abilities, everything, the gunplay, the reload. Yeah. Like they actually have, that's a big difference between the two games. Like they make it so that it's sort of ammo, even though it's just like what do they call it in the game? Like heat cooldown charges or something. Like you're because that's what it was in the first game, but you just didn't have to do a reload. The cooldown meter would have to go down.
I see. Yeah.
So it's a minor difference, but feels great compared to the first game. So, if it's something that you think, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, and I saw on Twitter you were saying that you had completed Dead Space 2.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. So then Dead Space, because I'm into the third game now, right? Okay. So like really cool to like jump into this franchise and having never played any of it. And now I'm like into the third game, and I have an opinion across the whole franchise. And I know maybe this might be something I'm going to say that might be a little blasphemous. People might not like this. So far, I think 3 might actually be the best. Ooh. And my reasoning, because, and I haven't finished it yet, so maybe I'm going to be wrong, but my reasoning is because it actually improves upon the stuff from the first game, right? Like, I love the first game. It's fantastic. Actually, it's incredible, but it's an older game. And then you go to the second game and it's like, I finished the second game and it's great. It's really good, but it's basically the same game.
Right.
Like, it's not really wildly different anyway.
Right.
They didn't really improve on anything. They're telling kind of the same story almost, just in a different setting.
Right.
Then you get to the third game and it's like, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm looking for. Like, this is like Isaac Clarke's like story has moved on, right? Like, he's like this crazy, like, you know, dude who like knows all the stuff about the markers, and you know, it starts off like the story starts off so much more interesting. Like, there's actually like a story that I can follow, whereas the other games are just like, hey, crazy stuff's happening. There's monsters everywhere, you know. Now there's like a real purpose and like there's a goal. They're like, we found about this information about these people who are looking into the markers, and they might be a way to stop this thing from happening. And you want to go to this planet. And I'm like, this is great. Like, I'm in the spaceship. Then I'm going to go to a planet. Actually, you start on a planet early on too, just to see what that's like. The only thing that's weird, and then the upgrading of the weapons is different. And I'm like, at first I'm like, this is weird, but then I'm like, no, actually, this is really cool. It makes a lot of sense because now, instead of just, I got this weapon and I'm upgrading just like stats about it, you can actually change out like pieces on the weapon. So I could change like the engine type, they call it. So it could be like a plasma gun or like bullets or some other electricity. You can change the tip of the gun, which will decide if it's like a spread shot or some other type of shot. So like you're cobbling together pieces, and I'm like, yeah, because he's an engineer. And I'm like, now it makes sense that he's like cobbling together some weird weapon to fight these creatures that you don't really even know what they are. So like it's smart. It makes sense. It's less horror, it's more action, but the action is fantastic because there's like crazy action set pieces. It's like freaking Uncharted, like almost level, not quite like you know, some of the ridiculousness of, but like it's really cool. It's compelling, and you know, there's more varied like locations, I suppose, or the ship design seems very different. I like it a lot. I like 3 a lot. I'm really into it.
Cool.
You can actually another enhancement. You can actually, you know how they have that thing like the marker location, and it can tell you on the floor the cool little like line that shows you where your objective is to go. Now you can switch that to like, tell me where the suit locker is. Tell me where the bench is for me to upgrade. Tell me where secondary objectives. By the way, there's secondary objectives now. There's like other small things you can do in this game instead of just go along the linear path. I'm like, this game is actually a real evolution of the franchise, and I think it's weird that people didn't like it, other than the fact that it feels a little weird, plays a little weird sometimes. Like, it doesn't feel quite the same. And I don't know if it's a new engine, if there's something that makes the gunplay feel slightly different. I'm not sure. You know, shooting the limbs off maybe feels a little different. Maybe it's intentional because I'm always trying to shoot the legs off. That's what I did in the first 2 games. It's like, just shoot the legs and they fall on the floor and it's super easy. Now, maybe they made the legs tougher so you can't do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Carl. Now, Burly, what have you been playing, man?
I won't go as log. I've been alternating between 2 games on streaming, Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 5 Strikers. Horizon, it's been great to go back to, and I'll soon be getting to the Frozen Wilds, which I've never played the expansion. So I'm looking forward to that. And Persona 5 Strikers, because it's been on PlayStation Plus, it's been a lot of fun. The combat is really, really fun, and it's just actually making me want to go back and finish Persona 5. But then the music, because they use a lot of the music from Persona 5, just 10 out of 10 on soundtrack. And I'm still working on Judgment on my own time when I do get free time, which is not very much.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say, with all the content stuff, you know, Burly and I doing Boba Fett and, of course, the morning show and everything, I don't get much time to play games except for maybe today, you know, before the podcast here. And, maybe for an hour in the evenings after the morning show for me because I'm out here in Japan. But, so cool. All right, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it can get hard to play these long games,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
you just have to break it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of the reason why, like, I didn't really expect I would play through Mass Effect at all because, and I only jumped into them like a little because they're long games. Like, I don't know that I really want to dedicate the time, especially to play something I've already played multiple times.
Right. Okay, guys, let's get into the weekly news beat. So earlier this week, kind of towards the beginning of the week, Take-Two Interactive decided to acquire Zynga for $12.7 billion. So now, obviously, it's going to be like the biggest acquisition ever in the video game space. Of course, last year, Microsoft for $7.5 billion purchased Bethesda and ZeniMax. And then, of course, Tencent, it's $8.57 billion acquisition, or majority stake, I should say, in Supercell. It was the second largest. So, of course, Zynga is really in the boy, Carl, your baby's really going off this morning.
And she's all the way downstairs too.
Oh, really? Wow. Awesome.
She's just really interested in whenever she hears the word billion.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Zynga is more into the mobile game space. So it looks like Take-Two really wants to get its hands into the mobile gaming sphere. So what do you guys feel about this acquisition? Carl, I'll start with you on this. What do you think, man? What's your take
Zynga,
on this?
the Farmville guys, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
It's really only how I know them. I'm like,
Farmville.
I don't know what else. What's their biggest game? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, Farmville's probably the biggest. Yeah.
Still?
Might be. I don't know.
No,
they've come out with a bunch of mobile stuff.
They have other mobile apps that are probably making more money at this point than Farmville.
I know Don Matrick used to work there after Xbox. Let's see, he went over there, but he's gone now. I mean, I get it. Like, all these companies, like, they want to be in the mobile space because there's a lot of money, but that's really all it's about. Like, that's my problem with mobile and these guys getting into mobile is like it's just about the money. You don't. No, I'm not gonna say no one cares about making like high quality mobile games. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I think most of those games are driven by the desire to take in massive amounts of microtransactions. They're designed to find the whales, right? I'm sure you heard the term whales.
And NFTs.
That's the next thing. Again, they're going to do that too. And
yeah.
It's like I'm so surprised to see it's $12.7 billion for Zynga.
That's huge.
At this point, I would never have imagined when I was playing Farmville on Facebook that company would be sold for that much money. Are we going to see? Yeah, we're going to see. Take-Two IPs put into mobile stuff, and I think they're going to have mixed success with that because I don't know that really works. A lot of the most successful mobile games seem to be originals. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So
could you see Rockstar games like GTA or Red Dead come to mobile now?
You could. I mean, they already have those type of games on mobile, right? Like iPad and stuff. You can play GTA games. Yeah, the older ones. Are they going to put like GTA Online on there? I mean, they're probably going to try, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I think they should make original different versions. But again, I don't know if those will be successful.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me about this is that I worry that a major company like this who makes games that we play, right? That we enjoy, that have artistic quality to them that I think at least they're trying to be something. I'm not saying that no mobile games have artistic quality, but they're trying to be something greater, and they may, look and say, look how much money we're making over here. Why are we going to make GTA 6? Why are we going to put so much time into, the story, right? Red Dead Redemption 3. Why are we going to put so much money and time into making this epic grand story with all these voice actors and so much work, so much detail in this open world? When we can make more money on some, free-to-play microtransaction game.
Yeah. And then again, 2K also with the NBA 2K games. I mean,
Ugh,
see all that on mobile too. Yeah,
those games are already the worst microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, mobile.
The freaking virtual currency making your player. Oh god. Yeah, I dabbled into that one time, and I was like, this is the worst crap ever. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Burly, what's your take on this?
Yeah, this doesn't look good for mobile games, because all it's going to do is just show, because they're just going to put out stuff with the Take-Two, with more Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, and other franchises that they own already. Throw mobile games and put them tons of transactions, and because there are people, they'll look for the whales, like Carl said. You're going to have people that will buy this stuff because they could put it down, the game 99 cents. You're like, oh, I'll buy it. It's just only 99 cents. And then you find out they let you the first 2-3 hours, no problem. You can get progression, and then you get hit behind walls. And then you got to spend, it's just 99 cents. I spent 99 cents on this game. I'll give them another buck. Give them another buck. Give them another buck.
Yeah.
But when it starts adding up, that's the stuff. And I hate that. Because it's the thing, like, I have played mobile games that you could pay $1 and you get the whole experience. You do not have to pay anymore. But those games nowadays are few and far between. Like, I stopped playing games on my phone because it's always, okay, you've got an hour or two in. Give us money. Yeah. Give us more money.
Speaking of mobile games,
we need money.
I'm just curious to know if these if this franchise is popular on mobile in the US and Canada. It's called Puzzles and Dragons. Have you guys heard of that franchise?
Don't know it. No.
No?
I've heard of it.
It's huge here in Japan. It's called Puzzle Dora. Yeah, Puzzle Dora. It's huge out here, and there's tons of microtransactions in that as well. So.
I'm gonna see if it's in the Play Store.
Yeah, Puzzles and Dragons, it's what it's called. And there's many variations of it here. So
there it is.
Yeah,
Gung Ho Online Entertainment.
There's 9 million,
5 million plus downloads.
Yeah,
Gung Ho.
It's pretty.
Gung Ho Entertainment sounds like a U.S. company, not a Japanese company.
Yeah. And this is like a matching game, and there's like a little dungeon thing going on.
Right. So, yeah, it's huge out here on mobile in Japan. So a lot of kids play it on their mobile phones.
We still
huge. Go ahead, Burly.
Like the big ones we get here. That we get because I see them like for like football game ads. I see them, and I see them also as a content creator because I've had offers. Is like Raid Shadow Legends, that Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, all that stuff. That stuff is huge. And then the obvious one of a franchise I love that I used to play on mobile, Pokemon Go. That is still huge. But you don't have to spend money in that game. But later on, that game makes you really want to spend money. And I got to that point, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't just sit here and want to spend this game to make me want to spend money. I'll just play a Pokemon game on my Switch or 3DS.
Speaking of Pokemon Go, did you guys hear about that story this last week? Some LA police officers, they were playing Pokemon Go in a park and stuff, and they let some crime go unattended because they were hunting Pokemon or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they said they were trying to catch a Snorlax.
They're hunting Snorlax.
Okay.
It's terrible, but I mean,
well, in the base game, Snorlax is a really good Pokemon. To be fair, I don't know how it stacks up in Go.
Okay. Well, anyway,
it's just mobile's like a whole different world from what we're into, right?
Right.
Like I wish there was an easy way, a terminology to delineate these two things, because the gaming community that like we're sort of attached to and associate with and interact with is not people playing mobile games for the most part.
Yeah.
Right. We may dabble with one or two here or there, but we don't really know or care as much about what's going on there. And like, and those things, when you say video game, if you include mobile in with what we're talking about for the most part, it's apples and oranges. Like
Yeah.
They don't feel like the same thing at all.
Yeah, at this point in time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but as the technology advances and cell phone technology advances, there's going to be
you can play, Fortnite. You can play PUBG, right?
Right.
Those type of Genshin Impact, right? You can play them on mobile, but those, and I guess those are transcend, of course, the whole across both, right? But the large majority of mobile games are designed for you to have this touch screen, to be a quick experience, and they're not as deep as those games. And that's really what we're talking about. Those are never going to change because your interface on your phone is not going to change.
Right. So,
unless you buy that Razer controller thing where you stick your phone into.
Well, or unless we get some type of other technology in the future where, you have some kind of screen come up above your wrist or something, we're not going to get into that today, but that's pretty far off, I think. But anyway,
an adaptable screen where it creates physical buttons, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you could feel them. I'm waiting for one mobile game still, and that's that Shining Force game, which haven't heard a thing about since the announcement. Well, actually, no, there's a trailer. Yeah, but that was it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from mobile to Microsoft and the Xbox One consoles. So Microsoft is focused on the Series X and the Series S throughout 2021, and obviously they felt it was time to discontinue the Xbox One line of consoles. So, Burly and I, we talked about this a little bit on the morning show, but I think this is no surprise. Microsoft is in a different sphere from PlayStation in the sense that PlayStation thinks that because of the chip shortages, they need to make more PS4s for the time being, which would satisfy a lot of the developers as well. But when it comes to Microsoft, I think Microsoft is looking more at, okay, we're trying to get people into our ecosystem with Game Pass as well. And I think they feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that, hey, we can discontinue this line and the Xbox Series X and the Series S are going to do just fine. So with sales moving forward, what do you guys think? Burly, I'll start with you on this one. How do you feel about Microsoft discontinuing the Xbox One series of consoles?
Well, it makes sense. Microsoft is going for a different market strategy than PlayStation. Their whole strategy is get you in with Game Pass. They want you in the ecosystem. They don't care if you're playing their games on computer, streaming them to your phone with the xCloud streaming, or playing them on a Series X
mobile.
Well, I had to say the M word.
Right. That's bringing our world to mobile gamers, right? That's what they're trying to do. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to. You can play it on anything, pretty much, is what they're trying to do. There's no sense in them trying to sell out the 5 different versions or whatever the number was of the Xbox One. I know they had discontinued the One X a while back. There's no point of doing the One X, the X and all that. Just 2, the Series S, Series X, mostly just the Series S because it's the better unit, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say it's the better unit. It's a different value standpoint that makes a lot of sense for some people.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But there's no. It just makes it easier just to have 2 units out there that you're selling. Just those 2 units, the current new units, sell those. Anyone that has an Xbox One at this point, anyone that wants an Xbox One at this point has one. Let's be honest. Because they've done so many models, they've done price drops and all that for years. If you want an Xbox One, you already have one. Or if not, they still do have some in retailers. And even though they'll stop production, you'll still get them at your GameStops, your EB Games, because they will have used units. But Microsoft at this point is just, let's get you into Game Pass. We only have, here's our new stuff. Or if you've got PC or mobile, you can join it through there.
Carl?
Yeah, so like Burly said, there is 2 different strategies, right? But it's also two different starting points for the generation.
Yeah.
And you can see why there's Xbox has discontinued this, and this was all the way back at the end of 2020, right? So we're talking a year ago this happened, right? This isn't like current events. They've been discontinued. It's coming out now because PS4, we learned, is still being produced intentionally, right? And that's because, so here's the different standpoints, right? Sony has a huge base for PlayStation 4, and it's wildly successful, and they have for this year Horizon Zero Dawn, potentially God of War Ragnarok, so has a release date this year, and whenever it comes out, will be on PS4, and Gran Turismo 7, right? Three major AAA games coming to PS4. If you want to play those games and you don't have a PS5 or a PS4, you gotta get something. So their entry point there can be the PS4, the lower price. Go ahead.
Now, has Spider-Man 2 been confirmed only for PS5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That and
so God of War. So basically, God of War Ragnarok is going to be, say, the last major first-party AAA game to come to PS4.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. That we know of.
And then
you never know.
And and the vast majority of third-party AAA games are still on PS4 and Xbox One. So you see that strategy makes sense for PlayStation, right? This isn't like some weird thing going on. It just makes sense for them to kind of still make some, because there is an incentive. If you buy one this year, there's a lot of games you can play from the past, and there's a lot of games coming out this year for it.
Right.
That's still true for Xbox, but the difference is the starting point and where they're going, right? The strategy is that, okay, they started from a generation that wasn't really successful, so they kind of want to move on from that. They don't really want to be associated much with the old generation. They sold maybe around 60 million, I think, somewhere around there is the number. It's not huge. And they have, at this point, their strategy was, well, we have a lower price unit, right? That starts at 300. It's there's no point for you to buy the old Xbox, even if you could get it at 200, because why not jump into the next generation and get it at 300? That's the reasoning for them not doing this, right? Game Pass is important. They want to get you in Game Pass, but whatever. Why buy the old system when there's a new one with new technology in it for only $300?
Right.
That's where they're trying to get you to go. Sony doesn't have that option. Their lowest option is the PS4. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that, like you were saying earlier, there's a huge PS4, game player base. I mean, 116 million. So at the moment, so that's a lot.
And also, if you look at the difference in releases this year, if they both come out, Microsoft has, well, actually 3. Microsoft has Redfall and Starfield as first party exclusives, only on next gen. Right. And then Stalker 2 was supposed to be earlier, but it got delayed and
to December.
But again, only next gen. So Sony doesn't have that. So there's less incentive to keep getting people on the older platform with Xbox, because they believe in generations that actually. No, I'm kidding. It's funny that when you think about how things were said long ago, Microsoft is already moving quicker into the next generation, but it makes sense because Sony had a better generation, and they're still putting games, trying to sell games to that 120 million base of however many units out there.
Yeah, and we're still not done when it comes to Xbox announcing some of these AAA titles that might possibly come out this year. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, Hellblade 2 might come out this year. Who knows? And then, of course, A Plague Tale Requiem is definitely coming out. Yeah. So
I believe that's cross-platform, right?
It will be. It will be. I think it's exclusive to Xbox for.
No, there's no exclusivity, but it's launching on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And it's why I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. But interesting you say that, Expat, because that's what they're trying to do. When a game launches into Game Pass and it's multi-platform, I look at it as it's not. It's almost an exclusive, because why would I play it anywhere else?
Right.
For someone who has all the system, or who intends to have all the system. I don't have the PS5.
I mean, you're paying that $15 for Ultimate per month, but it's almost like you're not paying anything because it's a subscription service. So, whereas on the PlayStation side, you're going to be forking out $70.
Yeah.
So
if you have Ultimate, all you got to do for this year is play Redfall, Starfield, and Plague Tale, and that covers the entire cost. If you play nothing else, you've gotten the value out of it. But of course, you probably will.
Yeah.
Cough, Hitman Trilogy, add that there. And Mass Effect.
Of course, right.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that later with the Game Pass releases coming up for this next week. Yeah. So, good stuff. And now, of course, the Mass Effect trilogy is on there as well. So, yeah, good stuff. Okay, so let's jump over to the Nintendo side of things. And Burly, I'm going to start with you. And what's that?
I said, who's that? Nintendo?
Nintendo?
That playing
card gaming company?
They were a playing card company back in the 1880s. Yeah. Way back in the day before you guys were born.
They gotta bring that back. Do they still make playing cards?
I'm not sure if they still do, but I know they
used to have them as Club Nintendo rewards. They used to have them as Club Nintendo rewards. Back when they had a good reward system.
Put little those NFC chips in it and make them work like amiibos. Each card is gonna have.
Carl, don't give Nintendo ideas. They'll
they did that with Animal Crossing, and those sold like gangbusters.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move over to the Nintendo side, and the end of this month is looking pretty good for Nintendo, and obviously going into February, we got the news this week that the Ezio trilogy of Assassin's Creed is coming to the Switch as well. But of course, the end of this month, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus coming. So, Burly, I'm going to start with you on this. How do you think Nintendo is positioned at the end of this month, moving into February, when it comes to the huge February lineup of games coming out?
They're positioned pretty good because they're in using one of their top 3 franchises to hit at the end of January to hit in. Like, this is just Dying Light 2. Even though I'm not picking up that game, but I feel bad for it because it picked the world's worst release time right now, because you've got Pokemon, which is a giant franchise, coming out the week before it. And then after Dying Light 2, you've got Horizon and Elden Ring. It's just like, you guys picked the world's worst release time.
And then you're gonna have to put 500 hours into Dying Light 2 to complete it, right?
Oh, fucking don't get me started.
You're gonna enjoy all those 500 hours, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Burley. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Pokemon will sell well for them. It's I don't know how much it's gonna do competition against Horizon and Elden Ring. It'll still make people think of the Switch. The Ezio collection, I don't expect to do that well on Switch. You'll get some people that'll buy it, but in all honesty, seeing the Ezio collection on there is like, maybe I'll pick this up for my PS5 if I can get that cheap on a flash sale.
Well, most people have probably already played the Ezio collection anyway, so I don't know how this is going to sell on the Switch. I mean, the majority of Switch players that are actually going to pick this up, what are they going to play it in handheld mode or in docking mode? I would probably play it in docking mode, but I don't know.
Yeah, you'll get more people that play it docked, but like Pokemon, since this is a different game, this is way different than your standard Pokemon game. I'm interested to see how the numbers are going to do, and because Pokemon's coming out in a weird time, a different time of year, and up against stronger competition. Because like last year when Diamond and Pearl came out, I don't think there was anything. I think besides I think one of the sports games that came out, so it's like had no competition.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see, especially for you, Carl, because Triangle Strategy is coming in March, I think. So
Yeah.
You know,
so is
January.
Kirby's March also?
Also,
Yeah,
Kirby's
Kirby
also
is March.
So, I mean,
not to mention Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah.
Forspoken. This is.
So I think
but if we're talking about Nintendo, right, those aren't on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just meaning in terms of games. So we got competition.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think if Nintendo does well moving it through February, I think March they're positioned very well. You know,
I don't think that's the worry. Like Pokemon is a huge franchise.
Yeah.
You know, Arceus, if that's how you say it,
Arceus.
should be huge. It should be huge, right? It's a brand new game. It's something different. They're trying to bring it into something that people have been looking for in that franchise for forever. I think it looks like a cool game. I think there's trepidation because people don't know exactly what to expect. Burly won't watch the video explaining how this game actually plays.
I want to go. I want to go
I know
blind.
in our Discord community, the Arena podcast, Carl posted that for Burly, and it's like I knew he was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I also made a tweet on it.
I'm not forcing you to watch it. I'm not forcing you to watch it. I'm gonna play it right now live on my screen and force you to watch. You have to look away.
Oh my god, this is an intervention, not a podcast.
I won't bring up specifics, right? I think the game, it looks questionable at times, right? Like I think it could be awesome. It really could. I'm not sure if it's going to hit well as far as like reviews and quality compared to the others. Will it sell? Well, yeah, of course. Right? It's Pokemon. And I think people generally are going to be excited for it, and they are going to want to try it regardless of what reviews might say. I do want to try it. I mean, I was interested in. I like Pokemon. Like if it reviews really well, like I might pick it up. You know?
Okay, guys, I tell you what I'm going to do. On January 29th, Saturday, in the morning, I'm going to take my usual walk to Yodobashi. And Burly, I will bet you right now a case of spiritual opium. There will be a huge line on the 7th floor of Yodobashi. That's where the electronics store, all the gaming is. And you're going to see parents and kids lined up to get Pokemon Legends. And I will take photos of it. And I will post it. I mean, it's going to be huge. Every time a Pokemon game comes out, that first Saturday, it's just a madhouse at Yodobashi. It is. Yeah. Mark your calendars, people. Mark your calendars. On the 28th, it comes out, right? So on the 29th, on Saturday. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what sucks, though, about this game is that... And in general, the way Switch is kind of pushing things is that this game doesn't have voice acting, right? And like Pokemon never has. But you could argue that because they're going this new direction, that maybe this is where they should have started that. Because it's really jarring, like at this point, for there to just be no voice acting. It's like, come on, guys, you're not. I don't think you're doing it because you think that this franchise shouldn't have it. It's like you have the money. Just there's no reason that you shouldn't be putting that into this. And at the same time, animations, like I understand like frame rate and resolution, the Switch is limited, right? But animations, come on, you gotta have better animations too. I'm getting tired of like the same like sort of weak Pokemon animations. Like you can see they're hiding a lot of like effort, like with like effects popping up so that they don't have to animate certain things. Like they're really getting away with it a lot of times, and it does feel cheap to me.
So Carl, for voice acting, just hire Troy Baker.
Yes.
He'll bring the NFTs for sure. Yeah.
in Japan, voice acting, Kimiro Takuya.
Okay, yeah. Kimitaku, yeah, get him in there, yeah. And the Pokemon will be named Yagami, yeah. So,
how do you feel about that stuff, Bradley? Like, as a huge fan of the franchise,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
They have been so lazy with this series. and it pisses me off. Like, we have to go so many generations to slowly get improvements. This is the thing that bothers me. It's like, it's not that they took a risk and it failed. Take the risk, do something, try it. You will be surprised of how it works. Just, it's not that they won't put the effort, and the series has, like you said, they have the money, they have the resources. It's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a Japanese stubborn culture thing. No offense, but like, just try it.
Yeah.
Just make it. Do voice acting. Like, I don't get it. And they do it like some of voice acting in Snap. In the new Snap, but it's like, why can't you just do it? Just do the voice acting. And I agree, some of the animations reused, they're so lazy with the series on this stuff.
They don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, like, this is why I'm excited for Arceus Legends, because from some of the stuff I have seen, they're doing stuff different, so they're trying something. So it's like, ooh,
yeah,
they're trying something different. Great.
Yeah, and I get the nature of Pokemon, right? The way that there's a lot of different abilities for each Pokemon. There's so many different Pokemon, and for you to have to animate all those different abilities, and the fact that you can use like the TMs and HMs and add abilities that they necessarily wouldn't naturally get, and you have to have animations for those. I get it. It's a lot of work, but it's not an excuse for a company that makes billions, right? It's just not. Yeah. If you're indie, I get it. I would totally, if this was an indie game, I'd be like, you guys are awesome. You're doing an amazing job. But it's not. It's one of the biggest franchises in the entire gaming community.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You got to do more. But,
and they'll
get away with it.
And we'll be talking about it more as soon as it launches and the reactions to the game. And of course, Burly's going to be playing it. So maybe we'll be doing an extra take episode on it. So we'll give our reactions to it as well. So, okay, guys, it's time for the topic of the show. So, Burly, have you ever put more than 100 hours into a Pokemon game?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. The amount of times I've replayed Gen 1 and Gen 2, and not just meant like with different runs, and then streaming them and streaming different runs. Oh, I've put up those are the first two generations I've put over 100 hours easy. I wouldn't be surprised if I got close to about 1,000.
Okay. So what we're going to be talking about for all of you listeners and viewers is our favorite 100 plus hour games that we put more than 100 hours into. What games we want to be a completionist on. So I'm going to start with the first game that I've put over 100 hours into. I actually platinumed this game, and I put probably over 300 hours into it. I completed it 100%ed it. And for all of you viewers, you can see this, but for all of you listeners, you can't see it. But what I'm wearing, my Assassin's Creed Odyssey hat. Yes, Nani? I completed. Nani? Yes. Yes, I put a lot of hours, and as you know, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. And so I love to go into areas for the historical aspects of the game. And especially with Origins and Odyssey, I put a lot of extra time into the discovery tours as well into those games. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's, so far it's still my favorite Assassin's Creed game. I love it. I loved Cassandra. I loved playing her character. I played all of the DLCs. I went to every single island. I loved the graphics when it came to being out on the open sea. I mean, it really looked like you were on the sea in that game. I put a lot of hours into that game. So that's the first game that I really wanted to be a completionist on. I wanted to get to every single spot. I wanted to find every single little, piece of legendary armor and weapon. I had a great time and a fun time with that game. So, Carl, what's your first game you've put more than 100 hours into and you wanted to complete it?
Yeah, I'm going to start with the first game that I know and remember actually going over 100 hours and realizing like, whoa, I played this game a lot, which was Final Fantasy VII, the original on PlayStation. I know because I distinctly in my head remember looking at my save time and it being like 107 hours and me be like, I really played this game that much, huh? And that's because there is a lot to do in the game. If you play the core story, you're not going to put that much time in. But if you want to defeat, Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon, you're going to have to put in the work. You have to grind a lot. You can do if you want to get Knights of the Round, right? The summon, you're going to have to do your Chocobo.
Chocobo.
Yeah.
They're like Pokemon. Chocobo breeding, right? To get your golden Chocobo and whatever. I think that's what it was, right?
Yep, golden Chocobo.
So you can earn those things. And, I also went and I played from the beginning to get the different dates with the different girls, right? When you go to is it the Golden Saucer? Is that the place?
Yep, Golden Saucer.
Right.
Yes.
And you can get the date with either Aerith, Tifa, Yuffie, and I think even is Barrett an option? Like a weird thing that can happen?
Barrett is the option. Barrett is the joke option, and in the port to PS4 and the Xbox One, there's an achievement to get Barrett. Barrett's actually kind of hard because you have to literally, because there's a value, you're always most likely going to get Aerith because she has the highest affection rate. You have to like literally to talk to get Barrett. I think is like you have to do certain things with Barrett, and you have to I had to have a guide do this because it is so hard to do. You have to do certain things and certain text options.
Yeah, and I'm definitely on game FAQs at that point in my life. We're trying to figure out how to do these things. And it's funny because we know what we're talking about here, but if you only played the remake, you're like, what is this crap? Like, this stuff's not in the game. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, you didn't get the whole game, and you're not going to get that stuff for a long time, fortunately. So yeah, I mean, that game was. Did I get complete? Did I do everything in that game? I don't know, but I tried. I certainly tried.
Cool. Burly, how about you?
Oh, I've put over 100 hours into Final Fantasy VII. I can easily agree. Doing all that stuff. I hate Chocobo breeding. I hate Chocobo breeding. I literally, I think the last time I played to get Knights of the Round, I did the cheating way of just beating, I think it's Emerald Weapon. If you beat Emerald Weapon, you get the Master Summon materia.
Okay.
And then that gives you Knights of the Round maxed out. And then I think if you get Ruby Weapon, they give you the gold Chocobo. You can get a second gold Chocobo, so you can go up and get to Vincent's Ultimate and Knights of the Round. I just literally use the strategies of using Hades to paralyze the weapons. But for me, another game that I have done the 100 hours, and it's one I'm ashamed to now because now you know about the company, the original Diablo 2. Because I played so many multiplayer nights doing that, and that was a lot of fun. I was looking forward to the remaster. And then we learned the truth. Fuck Activision Blizzard.
I thought the remaster was pretty good. I don't know, but was there problems with that one?
No, it's just more I don't want to support Activision Blizzard because of all the stuff that came out. I have a friend that bought it, and he said it was good, but there's still problems. It's not a one-to-one. They had quite a few little problems at day one, especially if you were playing online. It was a gamble. Sometimes you would get kicked out, and you would lose a couple hours of progress. And I can tell you, if that would have happened to me, I got kicked off Battle.net and found out I lost my last six levels and all these stuff I got. I just I'm done with the game. Nope.
I want to bring up another game that I put probably 200-300 hours into at least. I love twin stick shooters. Of course, I go way back to the arcade days, playing games like Centipede and Tempest and those types of games. And when I first got the PS4, I tried this game called Resogun, and it really, really reminded me of Defender because I loved going to the arcades and playing Defender. And man, I just immediately got hooked on Resogun. I mean, I could not stop playing that game. I would play that game for like 3 to 4 hours a day after work, and my eyes just, from all the flashing and everything, just the euphoria of it all. I mean, it was an amazing game. The pace of the game, I just loved playing it. And even when it came out on the Vita, I got it on the Vita and I was playing it in handheld mode on the Vita as well. I loved Resogun, and I still play it once in a while. When I fire up my PS4 Pro, I've got it on there. I still play it once in a while. To think how far Housemarque has come since then, obviously with, Returnal now. And I was really sad when Returnal, not Returnal, but Housemarque said that they're not going to be making, in any time in the near future, any more twin stick shooters. I was really sad. Of course, Returnal did very well. It's a great game, but I mean, I would really love to see Housemarque go back to making twin stick shooters because they were the best at it during the PlayStation 4 generation, and especially with Resogun. I mean, which is still to this day, I will say, one of the best games on PS4. So yeah, I love that game. I put hundreds of hours into it. So yeah.
I got to go to my obvious one that everybody here is going to know for sure. Yep. And that's State of Decay 2.
Yep.
If I go to trueachievements.com and I look at my hours, it says 422 hours.
Only that many hours? You're a lightweight.
Yeah, well, I mean, to some I would be for sure.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm surprised that the community and the amount of people still playing this game, and how much you really can play it, even though it may not seem like there's that much to do in the game. And I guess maybe there isn't. It's just the fact that there's a randomness to your survivors, and there's so many different all the different maps and all the different bases, and it makes you feel like you want to try out all these different things. And it takes a lot of time to run through a whole run. I mean, you can do it quick on low difficulty, but you start raising the difficulty, it makes it take a lot longer. So if you want to play through lethal, like, it's going to take you a long time to finish, to do a full run survival of it. It's just a fun game for me. I love the loop. I've said before, the gameplay loop, it's satisfying. I just feel like there's always something for me to do to achieve a goal, for me to something I want to build in my base. I want to level. I want to, power up this new, survivor I got, or, all these different things to do. And it just, I don't, I've said enough about this game. It's just, they keep adding to it. They keep adding updates and things, right? They're still adding updates. There's a new one coming. They're going to change the infestations, how that works in the game. Like, they're still supporting this game because people really enjoy it. There's a lot of replay value to it if you love what's going on.
Now, was it the Juggernaut edition that kept you into it?
That's where I started. I didn't even play it.
That's
when
where
I
you started.
Launched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Oh,
which doesn't, like, the Juggernaut edition was where they added, I think one more map, and they fixed a lot of the bugs at that point. And I don't know if they improved some of the visuals and things. But that was like the definitive. I think that was a good point to start playing the game, because that's where, if you jumped into it, you're like, this feels like a full complete game. I know that doesn't have bugs. This is very minor at this point.
So what kind of time window do you feel we're going to get State of Decay 3, Carl?
I mean, I think there's potential for next year, although I don't really know how ambitious they're going to go. So like they'll keep supporting. I watch the developer streams sometimes. People working on it now, and they have a really small team working on State of Decay 2. The majority are on 3.
Yeah,
and State of Decay 2, they are just sort of like, what they're doing is they're basically kind of doing mods, like mods from the actual people who make the game, because they're not really adding things that are outside of what the game can already do. They're just like modifying the way the systems can work within the game. Maybe adding little things here and there into the UI. Like really, if you think about it, it is just stuff that like modders could potentially do to a game.
Yeah.
And third game, I just think they're going really ambitious with it. I don't know exactly the whole direction, but I think they're trying to go AAA with the next game.
So maybe mid-generation then. We'll probably see it. Yeah,
I mean, maybe. Like I said, it's potential. You could see it in 2023 and maybe late 2023. Maybe even they do it an early access thing because if it's like this game, there's a way you could say that you might release this that way. Okay. Game Pass makes it easy to do that. You just throw it in. It doesn't matter that it's not a full complete game. But I don't know if they want to do that either. I think they might want to just wait and make it be a big thing, a big AAA game.
Yep. Burly, do you have one more that you want to mention?
I have one more. This one may surprise some of you.
Come on, guys.
Well, I just got one more because we'll go 3 hours talking about this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I know Expat's going to kill us because of the editing.
Yeah, we're already over 1 hour, so
yeah. My last one that I'm going to make mention is my favorite of the Elder Scrolls series.
Okay,
and that is Oblivion. That was my introduction to the series.
Okay.
I remember because I played it on the 360, and that's when I got it, and because I got it for Christmas, and they had given you on Christmas, they gave you the one free small DLC for the Maythew's dagger. And that thing, if you get that early on in the game, that thing's quite broken because that thing like disintegrates armor. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but you hit once with it, lowers the armor, pull out your better weapon, and just go to town. Right. But like I played so much, and then when you got the DLCs, like you got Knights of the Nine, the Shimmering Isles, and all that, I easily, and with different playthroughs of just characters and builds and trying different things, I just had a blast doing it.
Cool.
Going over 100 hours easy.
There's so many games that people play. I mean, that they put more than 100 hours into. I mean, like The Witcher 3, of course, on PlayStation, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn, is another example with all the DLC, like you're doing, Burly, with the Frozen Wilds that you're going to be playing. I mean, there's so many games out there. I mean, the Elder Scrolls Online, a lot of the online titles that people just put hundreds and hundreds of hours into. I remember back in the beginning of the PS4 generation, DC Universe Online was pretty big with a lot of people playing that. And just many games out there. So.
Any MMO, if you've ever played, you've probably put 100 hours into.
Exactly.
Plus hours. Like World of Warcraft, I have, even though I didn't play it beyond the first year, or even Final Fantasy 11. Is that the one? Yeah. I put a good amount into that.
Yeah.
If I want to mention a couple like quick, right? Obviously Skyrim, I definitely put over 100 into that. Maybe Oblivion. I don't know. I did play a lot of that one. I did. If I look at my true achievements on Xbox, I can see like some surprise me on here. Like I got Metal Gear Solid 5 at 129 hours. I was like, wow, I played that. But you know what? There's a really fun gameplay loop in that, and wanting to using the Fulton thing, right? And like capturing all the different people and getting them on your team and like being able to, get all these different characters. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in that. Fallout 4, I got 125, it says. Witcher 3. Yeah. Mass Effect Andromeda somehow it says 104 hours. I don't know if that's accurate. But I played a lot of it. Now, the one I want to mention definitely I played a lot of is Minecraft. I've definitely put a lot of hours into Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people that I easily put over.
Yeah, Minecraft is just a lot of fun, and it's a really chill, relaxing game, and it's one of the only games, maybe few, that my wife actually like played with. Like we played split screen Minecraft together.
Oh, nice.
And you just you just build together and you help each other. And like, you know, she doesn't know the game as well, or she doesn't want to do certain things. She's like, get me some, you know, this, get me that, so I can do this. I'm like, all right, fine. Here's a diamond pickaxe. Go have fun. You know, give her the tough things. Yeah, she doesn't want to go. Here's the funny thing. She's like, the Nether realm is like scary to her. She doesn't want to go into the Nether. So what I did was like, I in the Nether, the scale is different. So if you want to cross the map really far, you can go into the Nether, go a certain distance, and be really far into the map. So like I'd venture out and I'd try to like find things in the world, and then I'd create a Nether portal so I can get back there and make it a quick walk. But she doesn't want to walk through the Nether world. So what I did was I made a tunnel in the Nether, so that from one portal to the other, a huge, long, snaking tunnel, so that she can go into this Nether portal and not see any of the danger, just casually walk right through to join me in on the, you know, wherever I am way far off on the map. There's so much cool stuff you can do. And they keep adding stuff, and I always want to go back eventually. I haven't done it recently, but if I were to go back, there's a lot of new stuff, a lot of new content.
Yeah. And I think for me too, also like the Lego games, you know, like the Lego Star Wars and also the Batman games like Arkham Knight and some of the other Batman games put a lot of time into. So probably over 100 hours into those games as well. So
one more franchise I'm sure anyone who's played has put over 100 hours into, which is The Sims.
Yeah.
Probably. It's a game that you play forever. Sims 3, I think, is the one I played the most.
Yeah. Well, anybody that's into sim games, I'm sure, like the farming simulators and things like that, they're putting hundreds of hours into a game like Stardew Valley. I mean, is another example. Probably a lot of people put hundreds of hours into Stardew Valley. So, and when it comes to the Switch, probably Animal Crossing.
I was just about to say, or the game that COVID helped the most, Animal Crossing.
And Among Us, you know, Among Us is probably another example. So,
any online game, of course, if you're competitive, you're gonna play a lot. But The Sims is a franchise that you will enjoy playing because there's such variety. It's the stories that you create. Sims 4 is okay. It's not the best in the franchise. My wife likes that franchise, so it's something that we've played together on and off, back and forth. You know. I'm waiting for Sims 5. I would love them to announce a new Sims, but I don't trust EA to do the right thing with that game. So,
trust EA.
As you're saying about it, like, no. I mean, like with competitive multiplayer, especially my son, you know, he puts, you know, hundreds of hours into Apex Legends. You know, he loves Apex, and a lot of people do. And then, of course,
but Call of Duty online.
Call of Duty, and of course, like League of Legends on the PC side of things. So lots of time into those games. So
I guess if I back in the day, Modern Warfare 2 might have been the one that I put that much time in with, like, you know, my brothers.
Yeah. All right. So that was our topic of the show. So now it's time to move on to our new game releases for the week of January 17th through the 23rd. And we're going from the website releases.com, so you can check that out for all of the games that are coming out in January. But we're just going to give our picks for the week of January 17th through the 23rd. And I will start with my pick of the week. And this one's coming to Game Pass next week. It's called Nobody Saves the World. So it's coming out on the 18th. So from the developers of Guacamelee 1 and 2 comes Nobody Saves the World, a new twist on action RPGs in which you play many different character forms, each with their own unique gameplay mechanics. The calamity's power is growing, and nobody can save the world now. Good thing you are nobody. Complete quests to discover and swap between many varied and distinct forms. Mix and match abilities in unique and interesting ways to find and complete even more difficult quests and unlock more powerful forms. Explore a vast overworld, clearing procedurally generated dungeons in an effort to beat back the calamity and save the world. So this comes out on the 18th. PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Of course, it will be on Game Pass day one. And Burly and I, we were talking about this on the morning show, and we showed a video clip of it. And it looks pretty cool, huh, Burly? All these different, like animal type of creatures that you could play as well. So
I think you could. One of them was an egg you could play. You were just rolling around as an
something
egg,
like that.
This I'm looking forward to trying.
Yeah. All right, Burly, what's your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is Dismantled. It's coming Wednesday, January 19th. It's already on PC for early access, but it's coming to Xbox.
Okay.
As you ascend from your shelter after the long years, a brave new world awaits you. A world inhabited with nasty, vile creatures. A world with no other human soul to be seen. A world with nature reigns in now. A world about to get even worse. You need to find a way to escape this wretched island. Before that, enjoy the bittersweet apocalypse. It's an indie-based game done by 10 Tons Limited, Ltd.
Okay.
So, I like the art style. Something different. So I figured, why not pick this, try this.
Awesome. Cool. Carl, what's your pick of the week, man?
All right, I went with Expeditions Rome, which is coming to PC only and on the 20th of January. And I remember actually seeing this one on one of these smaller, I don't know if it was E3, one of those events, one of the smaller ones that came out, the shows. And I'm going to read from this other website, which is 2game.com, because I was looking into this franchise and just reading stuff about it. And this was a good explanation of what this is. This Expedition, Rome, tasks the player with controlling their own party of Praetorians as they deal with the rising dangers of an ongoing rebellion in Greece. The kicker lies in the fact that there are key RPG features strewn about. To begin with, you'll create you'll create your very own Roman legatus at the start of the campaign. And you've got custom avatar in this one. What's more, there's an overarching personal narrative tied to your legatus. Namely, their father will have been murdered by a political enemy before the start of the game. Now, on top of dealing with the Greek rebellion, you'll also need to untangle your personal messes, one of which will, of course, be the matter of your father's murderer. Developers seem to really have banked on Rome's role-playing progression this time around, too. We're getting a fully voiced narrative, one that features branching progression systems, quest lines, and long-reaching consequences.
So voice acting, is Troy Baker in it?
I doubt it. Doubt they have the money. They are not a bigger studio. I don't know how big their studio it is, but they're not going to probably pay for Troy Baker. So this is the third in this franchise. The previous one was a Vikings and a Conquistador one.
Okay.
And the combat in this is, of course, turn-based strategy, as I enjoy.
Okay, so that's why you picked this one, obviously.
And there is a sort of like overworld map stuff as well. It looks like a game I would love. I don't know that I'm gonna play it, of course.
Okay.
I will look for reviews and see if it's something I want to jump into. It's definitely a game that's gonna take it probably a lot of your time, and it looks like the best effort yet from the studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that.
So, Carl, I have a question for you. Can you define what a Praetorian is?
I couldn't. It is definitely. I would say it is some sort of Roman leadership role, right?
Well, they were the upper class in Roman society, whereas the plebeians, they were the commoners. Yes.
Okay.
So,
there you go.
Yeah, no, I know that because I studied Roman history in college as well. So
yeah, I think you would like this game because this game is steeped in history. It is not a game that has any sort. As far as I know, I don't think this franchise has any mystical, supernatural. Like it's all historical.
It's not like the Forgotten City, So which is more mystical and stuff. So
which is why I generally don't. I like to have those aspects in my games. So that's why I look at this game and I'm like, well, I don't know that that's something I want, but it looks exactly like a game I would love. So
cool, awesome. All right, alrighty. So those are our picks of the week, and you can look at, like I said, all of those games on releases.com for the month of January. So next up, Carl, what's coming to Game Pass for the week of January 17th through the 23rd. So it's time for our Game Pass passageway. What do we got? We got 2 big ones coming this week, right?
Got some really good stuff. We got, of course, Nobody Saves the World on the 18th, which is your pick of the week.
Yep.
Then we have the heavy hitters of Rainbow Six Extraction on the 20th. And the other big one, which is Hitman Trilogy, or whatever they're calling it.
Hitman Trilogy, that's right.
Which you got all 3 of them in there on January 20th.
Yep.
And then your smaller game, Paparazzi, on the 20th, as well as Windjammers 2.
Cool. And
pretty damn good lineup. And there's probably smaller stuff.
Which one of those games are you going to try first?
Ooh.
I think I'm going to play Extraction first, just to try it out and see what it's like. Yeah.
I feel like I want to try Windjammers, even though it's probably not a game that I'm going to really want to play, but it looks something like to jump into and just play for a little bit just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Burly, what about you? Nobody Saves the World. Not even a...
Okay.
I'll try Tom Clancy thing, but I'm giving that game an hour. And if after an hour I can't get into it and I see what I think that game is going to be, is just trying to sell me a bunch of shit, I'm going to be like, okay, uninstall off Series S. See ya.
Yeah. I'll probably put the most time into Nobody Saves the World, but I mean, I do want to try Extraction and see what it's like. I'm not the biggest multiplayer guy, but I'll give it a try. Hitman, I mean, I played the first Hitman on PS4 back in 2016 when it came out. It was okay. I mean, I'm not the biggest stealth, like 100% stealth type of, gamer. But
you're an Assassin's Creed
there are
fan.
Some.
Right.
Yeah, well, Assassin's Creed is not 100% stealth elements.
It's not even a stealth game at all now, right?
No, it's not. Well, they're starting to get back to it a little bit, but I mean, you have your options. You could go stealth, or you could just go in and kill everybody, and that's what I usually do. So, I mean, so I want to try. I'll try Hitman as well, but I'll take my time with that one. It'll be like a here and there, an hour here and there type of game for me. But I mean, it's excited to see it coming to Game Pass. All 3 games too, and I'm just wondering all the contracts, the hit contracts, are going to be in those games as well. We'll see, but
I mean, Hitman's like a sandbox, type of thing, and
exactly.
I do enjoy that. I think I would want to try it at some point. I don't know if I will, but if I'm feeling it, if I'm like, I don't know what to play right now, even though there's never a shortage of things to play. So.
Yeah, Burly and I were talking about this on the morning show before we were recording. That when I think it was the first Hitman game, they had the contracts. They started those, and was it Gary Busey was one of the contract hits?
Oh yeah,
After Gary Busey. Yeah.
Extraction, I don't even know. Yeah. Extraction as a game, I don't know if it'll be good. It's not a game I'm gonna want to play. I mean, it's I look at that game and I'm like, oh great, here's Tom Clancy based shooter number 15. I don't know, 20 something. How many Tom Clancy based shooters are there?
Yeah. You don't even want to know the answer to that. But like that one, I'm not excited because I can tell you, way back when the trailer popped at the E3 for the Ubisoft, Expat and I, when we were commenting on it, I think 30 seconds into that 5-minute trailer, we stopped about that game and went talking about other stuff. We were so bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for us, but maybe it is a great game. The audience that would be interested in that, if it's really good, I think it'll be successful.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many Rainbow Six Siege players roll over into Extraction and get into that. So we'll see, but. All right, it's time for our announcements. Of course, our podcast announcements. Of course, Burly and I, we are doing the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast morning show, which we do weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, Carl, he's with us as well in the chat most of the episodes. So we look forward to seeing you in the mornings for our daily weekday look at the world of video game news. So we're doing that. And then on our Patreon side, of course, the Book of Boba Fett, our Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa, is on Patreon now at patreon.com/thearena_podcast. And we'll be going to YouTube tomorrow. It will be going public. So you could watch it on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thearena productions. So you can check the Book of Boba Fett and our spoiler reactions there as well. So let's talk about what games we're going to be playing this coming week. I've already talked about Nobody Saves the World. I'm probably going to play some of that. I'm going to try to finish the Gunk, as well as try a little bit of Rainbow Six Extraction. Carl, what are you going to play this coming week?
I'm going to continue Dead Space 3.
Okay.
Enjoying that. Oh, I didn't bring it up. Maybe I'll talk about it next week. I've been playing Wildermyth on PC. It's an indie game that's interesting.
Okay.
I'll play more of that.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe one of these Game Pass games. We'll see.
Okay. And Burly, how about you?
The same two that I've been streaming, Horizon, Persona 5 Strikers, and hopefully get a little bit more time in Judgment, and I can get another chapter in done and finished.
Yeah, you gotta get through that so you can start on Lost Judgment. Yeah,
I'm trying. The problem is because it's not so much a podcast. It's just like right now because of all these games and content creation and of the whole stream loop thing. I am in so much work with all this and putting a lot of effort into that, so it takes my free time.
Yeah.
Burly's just trying to be a nice Canadian man and not insult you, Expat. He doesn't like Judgment. You're forcing him to play.
Carl, thank you for saying what I couldn't.
Oh, shut up, guys. That's not true. Come on, man. Come on. All right.
Yeah, I'm not a nice
I don't
Canadian.
force anything on anybody. Come on, man. All right. So, it's time to let everybody know where they can find us on social media. So you can find me on Linktree for all of my social media links at linktr.ee/expat_1. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at expat_gamer. So Carl, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, on Twitter at turn-based Carl. The usual conversation going on there. Be nice, people. Just be nice.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
Be nice, Twitterland. Yeah, and give us some comments as we've asked. So, all right, Burly, where can people find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Burlyman Gaming. You also can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Burlyman Gaming. You can also check out my Streamloots page. I've applied for partner. Thank you, everyone, for the support on there. But there are little giveaways and stuff that are going on there. So check out streamloots.com/Burlyman Gaming. And also, if you're looking in the market for PC, check out Artisan PC builds and use code Burly to save yourself a little money.
All right. Okay. All right. So to end the episode, it's time for our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Jane and the Boy. Jane and the Boy are a duo who work remotely between the US and the UK. Their style could be described as indie pop infused with singer-songwriter bops. From the title song of their album called Waste Our Time. This has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 69. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. So we hope to catch you in the next one. And of course, our morning show, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter as well. Yes.
Play Minecraft. Play Minecraft. Yes. Enderman says play Minecraft. 100+ hours.
Play.
All right. So we hope to get you in the next one, everybody. Episode 70 is next week. So take care, everyone.
He's doing it.
Peace out.
Ooh, say